Dang it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. And so the whole concept behind, the words is when you have a song, my mentor would do these characters, right? And while he was doing these characters, he would actually do a song and it brought up emotions because he was covering a character in that. And so when that song comes on, it steers up emotion in you. Now, a lot of people might not realize this, but an earworm or something like that is, I was just thinking with Ezra, right? Is a lot of people when they have children, their children like certain songs, right? And it's like, can I handle the Purple Dinosaur song? Well, again, how many of you? And it's funny because the one that just popped in my head that I know that we didn't listen to is da 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 Baby Shark. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people, with unlimited wisdom, the thing that I recognized was because of my mentor 39 years ago that he would anchor songs. He would anchor songs into us. And what was really, really good is I never thought about that. I'll pull it up and we'll post it in the deal. But he came up with extremely, extremely positive songs. And we had a playlist and we played those songs during our trainings. And we also played those songs during um, our trainings and during our opportunity meetings, right? So if you guys really quickly, if every one of you, hi Lisa Marie, if every one of you guys thought of a song that triggers you, in a good way or a bad way, think about if you could use that to actually make something else happen in your life. So when I first realized, because I worked in a garage and I was a mechanic, we didn't have much music playing. But you guys will crack up. I used to drag race my car, a Vega, and I just don't know why, my cousin always played the Beach Boys. And so it was pretty interesting that for whatever reason, I heard a song probably from Saturday Night Live, and it was the soundtrack of the Bee Gees. And people would crack up because, I had this. How many of you guys know people like this? You'll know my personality trait right now, an Amberbull Blue Dolphin, It's like these people have, just beat up cars, but what they do is they have like a couple of $1,000 stereo system in it. So raise your hand or put a thumbs up if any one of you have been in a car where the stereo was worth more than the car. Okay. And so there's these songs. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Michael, Angela. It's so great to actually use this in your power. You know what I mean? So when I started realizing this, I thought, well, what could be songs that are earworms that you think about all day? And what if you deliberately got up in the morning, listened to a song, and it just played in your head all day long? When it stopped playing in your head, you would just listen to it again, and then it would play for. So all you needed to do is touch base with that. So I know that some of you on my YouTube channel, you can look and put in there. But there was a company that I was with called ACN, and at that time I had heard a song. I'm almost positive that I heard it from my mentor Bill, but it was Howard Hewitt, and it was called "Say Amen." And I put together a playlist, so I'm going to send this to you guys. But then there was another Howard Hewitt song that was, let me just share it right now. But then there was a Howard Hewitt song that was Forever and Ever. So if you guys watch that, when all of a sudden the whole crowd decided, a bunch of people that weren't in my group that I helped, they picked me up and carried me throughout this large crowd. And if you'll listen to the song is forever and ever. And so they asked me what would I like for my favorite song, and it's like, to have those lyrics constantly just going in your head. And so I put together a playlist, and I'll also post it for you guys. Let me see where the chat is. There it is. I think Curtis Loomer is note taker is uh Kurt Coach Curtis. Curtis Fallon. So yeah, I don't see him on here anymore. But so what I thought I would do with before we started this is I thought that I would there was this came back to me because I've been listening to these other songs. And then all of a sudden, it was around Christmas last year, or maybe probably the year before. But how many of you have ever heard of a group called Pena, Pentatonic? Have you guys ever heard of Pentatonic, right? Well, they did their rendition of Hallelujah. And I don't know where I heard it or seen it or whatever, but man, when I listen to that song, it's like, again, if songs have hit you on an emotional level, what if you listen to a song, maybe you deliberately do this where no one else is around, and it steers up that emotion in you that you go, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's like, So now, if you purposely listen to a song, and I was trying to think of, for Terry and I, when she had an ectopic pregnancy and almost died on me, it was amazing that she was still in the hospital when the Super Bowl was playing, and Whitney Houston sang the Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl. For the love of God. And how many people would agree if you haven't seen that? Maybe that's another one that you should Google and find. But Whitney Houston singing the Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl. And I feel sorry for the rest of the artists on the planet because she just ruined it for everybody else. Because it's like, now everyone that sings it, people go, that was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as Whitney Houston. And so what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd share my playlist with you guys because I know that Melody watched me do this. For those of you that Craig's not with us, he did incredibly well last night. But Matt's been around me, Terry's been around me, and what I'll do is you guys have seen me play Team Hoyt. You know what I mean? That's the father, pushing his son that's doesn't have control of his body, but he started taking him on marathons. And there's a song that's called "I Can Only Imagine." And what I would do with people is during a training, I would play that song while they watched this father push his son. And it's like, I only can imagine. And the song is just really, really, really powerful. But I just thought what I do is play that during this, just so you guys can all experience that. But then what if there was a playlist that I would suggest all of you guys putting together? And then when you put that playlist together, then guess what? It's this concept. And on the Bible side, it always says that I posted the post today. It's like you're supposed to pray continuously. Now, when I say that, how many of you just go, well, that ain't happening? What if there was an earworm or a number of different earworms that were playing in your head? As soon as they stopped, you listened to it again and they were playing in your head. So now you're constantly having this good stuff going off in your head instead of negative stuff. What would that be like a cool concept? So I'm going to show you guys this playlist, and believe it or not, I put it together so it's on my YouTube channel, and so you guys can see, and it's really amazing when you see these. Some of these songs have 61 million and 80 million and 90 million. But I thought I'd go through all these really quickly just so you could see them. And then, of course, the algorithm that works is when you start putting all those songs together, it's going to give you a bunch of others. And a lot of you, I've taken the time to actually share this with you guys. So let's see if I could do this correctly. Can you guys hear that? Okay. Is it sharing? Doesn't even look like it's sharing now. Okay, share sound. You guys hear it? Good.
It will be light.
Terry had to leave the room. A lot of people, I think, have difficulty connecting with something outside of them. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted you guys to do. If you guys can find ways to be able to, well, I don't want to connect. You know what I mean? Then why not figure out how to get connected first? And so I thought, wow, I don't have a playlist put together. I've talked about it before, but I wanted it to be on my YouTube channel. And then when I got it on my YouTube channel, I started adding more and more songs to it. And, it is interesting that a song that really, for a lack of better words, that would really grab my heart, for all of a sudden, when I start watching it and watching it and watching it, it doesn't have as deep as an effect, So what I've noticed that when you really, really think of something powerful, it's like, again, a lot of people um, are not watching when what I would believe is the right kind of content on social media or YouTube. But it is pretty interesting when you start doing it, then you'll find other songs that will pop up because now it's going, wow, it looks like Robert when he gets up in the morning, he puts on his headphones and he watches worship songs, right? And so it's pretty interesting because I don't know, maybe I'll get Terry to get up and leave again.
Probably.
But I love her heart. I love her heart. I not that I love making her cry, but I want to show you guys another one. Okay, it's already. Can you guys see this? Oh, it's looked like it's doing the whole screen. Okay. So, how many of you guys like that? I remember the times that Terry and I, showed up at churches. One of the things that we really, really liked is the worship music. Being around a group of people that are worshiping, and how I found Evolution Worship was one of the guys. His name is Brandon Lake. He was one of the people that were singing at the Charlie Kirk. So as soon as I Googled his name, I found him. He's one of these parts of that band. And then I found all of them. And then, of course, one of the worship songs I like listening to is, it's not going to click for me right now, but it was, he actually, when he sang it, he thought of Jelly Roll. And so him and Jelly Roll are one of the songs and I was telling Terry this. Jelly Roll sang it at one of his heartfelt hallelujah, and Jelly Roll sang it at one of his concerts. And while he was singing it, it started drizzling, and then to stop drizzling, and there was this giant rainbow. So while he was singing the song, he's just tears are rolling out of his eyes, and he had to call up Brandon Lake and just said, "You're never going to believe this. I'm singing your song, and there's a rainbow out here." And I say all this to say that a lot of us, I think, don't mean to do this, but we just stay pretty neutral with our feelings. Would you guys agree? It's like, I don't know where the world taught us that the number one thing that you should do is be in control of your emotions. And the thing that I really loved when I watched some of these that are on here on this playlist that I posted is that, man, it really, really fills my heart when I see all the young kids that are in the crowd. You know what I mean? It's like, Charlie Kirk, it was, one time I seen a deal that he was saying, and he says, you got all these young kids that are part of your movement. And he says, all you got to do is give something to someone when they're empty. If they don't have something that gives them joy and gives them happiness, then they're just empty. So, we know the other side of that is, hang around with a group of young people that hate America, they hate the world, they hate everything in it. They think, it's like, man, I sure wouldn't want to be a part of that world. So you get around the other world that just sort of, puts it out there that, hey, I'm very grateful. I don't pretend to know everything, but I'd rather have an attitude of gratitude and be thankful and worship. And so each and every morning, I brought this up over the week that when I get up in the morning, if Terry sneaks down the stairs, sometimes I don't hear her, but if she sneaks down the stairs, I'll have my headphones on, and this is exactly what I'm doing in the morning. And so then I get to go through the whole entire day with these songs going in my head. Now, the only other playlist that I think that I've shown you guys, and I've also posted it everywhere, is Washed by the Word. So I'm not just saying this to tell you guys that I'm I don't want to pretend that I'm anything better than you. I'm not. But I thought if I really went to town and told you guys what I've done, because from the time that I met Bill, this would be 39 years ago, that was the first person that exposed me to using music to anchor feelings of not only worship, but feelings of, I'm magic. You know what I mean? That how many positive songs are there out there that if you had that song rapping in your mind instead of having not, that's all I'll say is that I can remember 39 years ago when I stumbled across this music and Bill did it. The very first thing I think Terry and I did is he gave us a list of all the music, and we listen to the music all the time. And there's sometimes I don't think that people go, well, what is your secret? You know what I mean? I can't listen to some of these songs and not immediately want to share them with others. And here's a quick question. I know some of you are you can't see your picture, but I've been sharing stuff like this with Melody since I met her. So from the time that I met Melody, I've been sharing this information in these songs with her. And for those of you that have been around me a while, have I ever sent you any of these songs? And see, that's what's really amazing, because what I'll do is if you're connected to me, is I get up, I listen to a song, or I find a new song, it touches my heart, and then you come into my head, and then I share that with you. Does that make sense? So I know now that like I seen that Mike and Trish, they didn't say I've gotten anything. And you're new in this new movement that we're doing with Unlimited Wisdom. So I can guarantee you that there's probably been times where you've never seen me post on your post, but you're seeing me post on your post now. And so you're definitely in my heart. And so now I shared my whole playlist with you. You got it all. So you didn't get one song over 39 years. You got all of them in one shot. And I thought that another thing you guys could do on Google and YouTube and even AI is I just put in AI. I put what are the and I'll screen share this, because some of these songs, I know that there's some people like Sarah, Deborah, that I mean, they're raw entertainers. You know what I mean? So they'll probably see some of these songs and go, well, of course, you know. But I just thought I'd share this guys with you guys really quick, because I just put in what are the top 10 worship songs of all time. And what I did is I started listening to some of these, according, of course, Amazing Grace. And then, depending on who sings it, right? it can have just an incredible effect on you. And but some of these songs I've never ever heard of, and so some of you it might bring back good or bad memories, right? But some of you probably have some old, what do they call them, hymns? And maybe some old hymns that you've heard of, just you just want to think. And I see some people here are putting some songs in here. I think it would be really great when I make a post on this, from the replay. I would really ask each and every one of you to put your favorite, not only worship song or hymn song, but what song is a positive song with positive lyrics and uplifting lyrics, right? And what I think is really amazing is how many of us know that man, not only, Matt shared this with me my whole life, but you get a really good, I don't know if Matt's still on here, but I think his name is, if I knew his name is Heinz Zimmer, but the only reason I would know his name is because of Matt, right? Hans, there, yeah, Hans Zimmer. And it's like, because we all watch movies, and man, you put a good soundtrack behind a movie, and it'll get you. And it's like me, I don't mind being sensitive, right? And so, yeah, thanks, Mike. I don't mind being sensitive. So all of a sudden, Terry and I will be watching a movie, and I'm like, the music's changing, something's coming. But really think of because children's, cartoons are children's movies like Pixar. I know Matt's so good at that, not just Hans Zimmer, but what's that guy Newman that always writes? There's a guy that's like wrote 1,000 songs, but he's the one that always writes these, heartfelt songs that are part of history, like Friends, Randy Newman. Thank you very much, Melody. And it's like you'll hear some of these songs and you're going, "Oh my God, I know what movie that's from." So I just wanted to do the episode today just to share with each and every one of you that you can personally, intently change your feelings and change your thoughts to get you into action. You know what I mean? And I know this goes without saying, but there's some personal speeches that are done. Like Matt's favorite one is Steve Jobs of Apple. It's like, listen, you really want to get your ass in gear, you're gonna die, and it's not gonna be very long from now. So if you're gonna die, why don't you do something? See, I didn't want to make Coach Bob mad.
Yeah, yeah. How about told them?
But there's motivational speeches, there's stuff like that that can just get you in the deal. Of course, when I don't know what Rocky it was, but when Rocky's talking to his son, you know what I mean? It's very difficult. You're not that person. You know what I mean? Stop letting the world take it away from you. You're going to get hit, and life's going to hit you harder than anything. And you just got to get your ass back up, and you got to win. You're not a loser, you're a winner. And some people might be more motivated by that, like me, in a number of big speaking events that I've done that clip, Brock. And Brock is doing the death crawl, you know what I mean, for football. And it's like, it really gets people because, of course, there's incredible music that's going in the background as, Brock's got a guy on his back and he's doing the death crawl to the end zone. But yeah, if you went to YouTube and just put in football death crawl, you would find it. I don't remember what movie it was on, but there's speeches like that is done by coaches. And I just want to tell each and every one of you, instead of having a down moment in your life, or an extended neutral time in your life? Why not intently and do it with intention on purpose? Is get your heart, get your mind in a positive place because I know I share this with people and then people look at me sometimes like I'm an idiot, but I tell people how hard is it to watch something, excuse me, and that's why I put a playlist together of the videos with Immunotech and Immunical. How can you watch something and in your heart and your mind go, oh my God, I didn't know this. I'm so excited about this opportunity and product, and then immediately not want to share that video with other people? See what I mean? So people keep asking me all the time. It's like, man, how do you stay excited? How do you keep getting customers? Terry got another customer yesterday. Woo! And it's like, why not find stuff like this and get in the rhythm of watching something change your state, not from Montana to Wyoming, change your mental state. And as soon as you change your state, use whatever you did to change your state and share it.
Do it anyway, Bob.
Yeah. So I'm like, so, I seen Trish post where I forget what day she's on reading the God memorandum. That was a Trish, that book changed everything in my life. Everything in my life. And I remember when I finished reading it every night before I went to bed in 100 days, I was just like, why in the hell would I ever want to stop this? So then you get into the places, instead of changing your minds, Trish, on thinking, well, how do I share an opportunity or a product or something with personal development like unlimited wisdom? Then why wouldn't you just want to get really, really good at sharing the greatest, the greatest miracle in the world? So that's what got me on that. So years ago, I just said, well, listen, if my mentor shared it with me and it changed my state, why wouldn't I do that to others? And so that's what got me on giving away a gift, because if a person's timing's not right, it doesn't make a difference what we say. I've said this my whole career because, my mentor shared this with me. It's like you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. You cannot say the right thing to the wrong person at the wrong time in their life, right? And vice versa. And people don't believe it. They don't believe this. I was telling Terry today, life is so simple. You find something that you believe in and you just do that. You just get something that you believe in and believe in it and start doing it. That's called faith. So I know for a fact that you can't mess up. People keep thinking they're doing something wrong. You cannot mess up. 3442. Yeah, you just have to go back, and that would be close to 10 years ago, 9 years ago, or whatever. Way more than that. Gee whiz, I think I met.
She probably knows. She'll probably tell you. What year did you
Yeah,
start?
yeah. I think I met Melody in 2008, I think, or something. Huh? I don't know. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I love you. I think the world of you, and purposely change your state. You can do it. Then once that state is changed, whatever changed your state, share it with others. I love you. Have a great day. And I hope your team wins. What was you going to say?
Melody, 2016.
2016. Awesome. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.